Hey guys, first time I've ever done one of these, but there comes a time when stuff needs to get talked about and needs to get explained. There's a lot of talk about OHIP and eye care and how your eye care is under fire right now. So I want to offer up a little bit of explanation, and I want to just cite with one example, one story. I've got a lot of stories like this, but your life is short. So I just want to tell you one story, and I call this 2515. So we had a nice lady one afternoon who called, and she reported that she was getting new floaters and spots in the vision of her one eye, and that her vision was getting worse over the last couple of days. So we asked her to come down, as she did, and we asked people in the waiting room, to wait because there was an emergency. So this lady came in, and we did a dilation, and we spent the better part of an hour with her, and we did in fact confirm that she did have a retinal detachment, unfortunately. So now we have an eye that's going blind, and now things are ramped up a little bit. So the waiting room is filling. That's fine. We have a bigger fish to fry, so to speak. A call was made to London, and that's because we don't have any retinal surgeons in town. And of course, you have to wait for the attending physician to call you back so that they can get details and so forth. And then you have to advise the patient, listen, you're going to be going down to London and where and so forth, and not to eat, because the chances are that that person is probably going to have surgery that day, probably in a few hours. So you have to prepare them for that. Then, of course, the attending physician wants to get information, so you have to prepare a letter for them. And remember, the whole time the waiting room is filling, right? So after about an hour or so, we released her, and she did have surgery that evening. And we followed up with her a little bit later, and it was very nice. She gave us a very nice thank you note. And OHIP was very kind and gave us $25.15 to save an eye that's going blind. $25.15. That's crazy. 25 bucks. This has been like this for too long. I'd do it for free. I'd hope someone would do it for me, but free doesn't pay the rent, doesn't pay for equipment. It's not enough. We've been bargaining in good faith with the Ontario government with no advancement. There are so many stories like this over the last 34 years of my practice, and I'm coming to the end, and this COVID thing may actually push me to actually just leave, because if this stays like this, this is crazy. I'm paying to work. I'm done soon, but the situation for the future of eye care, your eye care, and also the younger optometrists who are coming up, who may be looking after you as well, is in jeopardy. And in light of the recent COVID-19 pandemic and the increased value of a single appointment slot, this can't be afforded anymore. We can't keep doing this. And of course, now there's PPEs, there's more expenses. We had to do expenditures to change things in the office. So we're spending more money, but making the same old wage for OHIP patients that we were getting in 2004. Prior to that, 1989. Your OHIP coverage should work for you. It must work for you, but sadly it does not. In the meantime, we struggle with this new normal. And moving forward, OHIP insured patients, unfortunately, got to be prepared to possibly see the family doctor or go to the emergency department in your area. Optometrists in Ontario will continue to do everything possible to help with your eye care, but the status quo cannot continue. My hope is that you will never have a retinal detachment or any other sight-threatening condition. But what if you do? 2515. I hope the lights in optometry offices across Ontario will remain on to look after your most precious resource, your eyes. Let's keep the light on, folks. Contact your MPP and let them know what's going on. Thanks. Have a good night.